this car actually had like a good spot for me to put the phone. I'm doing the intro in a Goodwill parking lot because I'm running late today and I didn't have time to sit down at my house. This week I was originally going to do like a huge vlog for you guys, another one kind of like Allie Hazelwood, but I'm reading Chestnut Springs. Just did not have it in me to edit that much footage again this week with everything else going on, and I still actually have to finish filming like the final like thoughts and conclusion and everything, and it's not happening this week. So I thought, you know what, let's just hang out for a few days. I'm trying to read An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. I say trying, I'm 30 pages in. I have to read it by the 9th, which I think it's like the 7th or something. I have to move my hand. It's the 6th. Okay, so I have a couple days to finish reading it, and it's kind of putting me in a bit of a reading slump because I have to read it or return it. And I know it'll be a while before I can get it back again, so I'm like, I need to read it. So we're gonna read it together on this vlog over the next day or two. Hopefully I will finish it tomorrow would be the goal. If you don't know what it's about, I don't really know either. It's the second book to A Dowry in Blood, which is about like Dracula and his wives and husband, I think. It's told in second person through like almost like diary entries or letter writing. It's interesting. I really liked it. I liked the story and everything, so I'm excited to see where this goes. This one is written, I think, in third person, and so far in the 30 pages I'm in, we've got two people's perspectives. We've got the one girl whose name I can't remember, and then we've got Camilla, and they're going to the same like all-girl university and in like the writing program. And I'm gonna try and limit the amount of spoilers, I guess, on this. I thought I was recording. I did not. This is editing me here to let you know that regarding spoilers for the book, I discuss things that are mentioned in the content warning. So like the content warnings at the front of the book say like this and this and this regarding like spicy scenes is in it, and I do discuss how I felt about those kind of things. I don't talk specifically about the scene. I don't tell you where it happens or when it happens or anything. I just say that there was a spicy scene. It involved these things that were in the warnings, how I felt about it. I also discuss one major plot thing. It happens on page 30, so I don't consider it too much of a spoiler because it's also definitely hinted at in the synopsis. And then I do discuss the vibe of the ending. I don't really talk about specifics for anything other than the thing on page 30 and the ending vibes. I don't say this is what happened. I don't say this is what was going on. I just say this is the vibes of the ending and how I felt about that kind of vibe of an ending. If you're worried about spoilers, that's kind of what they are. They're pretty vague. I mostly just talk about vibes and how the vibes make me feel. I don't say like on this page they did this and this and this. No. So yeah, there's your spoiler warning, I guess. If you don't want to hear about that, come back when you finish the book. Yeah, so I'm only 30 pages in. We can do a catch up on that later, but I went and got myself a free coffee at Dutch Brothers today. I got bobas in it, but they put them on top. Very weird. Oh, and I went and got a sticker there too. It was sticker day. Let's see if I can find this sticker to show you guys because it's pretty cute. It's the little squirrel with bubbles for March. But yeah, I'm gonna go into Dutch Brothers because not Dutch Brothers. I'm gonna go into Goodwill and check out their book section. I'm on the hunt for some specific books, like the original editions of the Throne of Glass series, some R.A. Salvatore books, and then just kind of like anything else to fill out my series and stuff. So we'll see what they've got. I don't usually have too much luck, but you know, you're not going to find it if you don't look. So I don't feel like paying the resellers as much as they want right now. So for now, I'm just going to keep looking until I get really desperate. And then I will think about paying going it or whatever. But all right. Yeah, I'll see you guys in Goodwill. Okay, I'm done with a couple errands. I didn't stop to talk to you guys after going to Goodwill because everywhere I'm parking, there's somebody like near me. There's somebody walking by. Everywhere I park, there's somebody like in the car next to me, just hanging out, just vibing. And I'm like, that's cool for you, but I'm not gonna sit here and talk to myself. I'm at the library, and of course, like everybody's coming out of the library right now. I went into Goodwill and they had so many books. Like usually when I go, the shelves are like half empty, but this time they were super duper full. It was like somebody had just dumped their entire like something hob. I don't know, the like fantasy section was super full of like a specific kind of fantasy. It was crazy, but no R.A. Salvatore except for a Star Wars book, but the Star Wars book was like $5, a little too rich for my Goodwill blood. But I did pick up Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. I've heard of this book. I don't know if I've heard it's good. And you can see this version is kind of like in rough shape. Yeah, I grabbed this for $2.50, so I've heard about it. But yeah, I went to the grocery store to pick up cat food and Pop-Tarts because that's my like dessert sometimes is Pop-Tarts, and I ran out. I'm at the library now. I have some holds to pick up, and I'm gonna return The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. I just read this earlier this week and I thought it was really cute. I rated it 5 stars. I've seen people picking it up after reading Bride, and just a reminder in case you didn't know, I hated Bride. I rated Bride 2 stars. I didn't like it, but this I rated 5 stars. This one I really liked because it was just set in the real world and pretty much just followed the real world, except some people could turn into wolves. I don't know why they needed to turn into wolves. Like, it was basically just like alpha, omega, beta, but the betas are humans. And then there's the shifters, and they can turn into wolves, but we only see their wolves like one time. It's for like less than a chapter, and they run around the woods together. I don't know. I don't know why they needed to turn into wolves. Maybe it makes people feel better if their like alpha, beta dynamics involve them actually turning into animals instead of just being weird humans. But I don't know. I didn't feel like that was necessary. But I still rated it 5 stars because it was really cute and I loved it. And I love the man in this book. He's so adorable. Okay, I love him. I'm going to return this and pick up a couple holds. So I'm going to run in and then I will show you guys what I pick up when I get out. The lighting is very weird. It was a beautiful day. Not so much anymore. Not so much. Hello friends, I'm home now from the library and everywhere. I will show you what books I got, but first I have to deal with this. We remodeled our bathroom, so I have to build this towel thing. Wish me luck, it shouldn't be too hard. Okay, I'm done building the shelf. If I have any footage of it, I will insert it over me talking right here. Look at the beautiful shelf. Wow. Can't believe I built that. Yeah, so after I did that, I'm here now. Okay, I don't know what I'm trying to say. My thoughts are all over the place. I'm going to show you the library books I picked up today. I'm having a bit of a library crisis, but we can talk about that in a minute. So I picked up A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. I wish I could remember what this is. This is like Persephone, Hades, gambling world. Okay, she has to like create life in the underworld or be there forever or something. I don't know. I think I saw it recommended, and I love a good Persephone Hades retelling. Keyword good. And then I picked up, it's a bunch of Angela Carter works. I wanted to read The Bloody Chamber, which is some of her short stories, but this also has Wise Children and Fireworks, and I didn't realize that's what this was when I ordered it. It looks like a tome. But I really want to read The Bloody Chamber because it's a collection of stories inspired by fairy tales. Like it says, a beauty who turns into a beast. Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother stoned as a werewolf. Bluebird as a murderous, porn-addicted businessman. This was published first in 1979. So yeah, it's old. Older. And then it's got like her last novel, and then it's got semi-autobiographical stories is what Fireworks is. Wise Children is the last novel she wrote before she passed. So I mainly got this to read The Bloody Chamber, but we will see how it goes. My library didn't just have The Bloody Chamber. It just had this compilation. I picked up The Long Game. This was not a hold. I've checked this out in the past and I just didn't get around to reading it because they made me return it immediately. But I'm really in the mood for like a cute rom-com. So I picked this up because I don't actually have any other really cute rom-coms checked out right now or like waiting in the wings. So I snagged this one. This one is about somebody who gets like banished to help something about a little middle of nowhere soccer team, but it's like a kid's soccer team. And she's from the city. He used to be like a big time player, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, a recently retired professional goalkeeper. So it's like a romance with soccer, and I'm excited to give it a try. It's by Elena Armas. Oh, it's by the person who wrote The Spanish Love Deception. Suddenly I'm a little bit less sure that it's going to be good. Okay, this is like the floppy paperback. I kind of want to own it myself. I got Binding 13, which is the first Boys of Tommen book. I watched a lot of Larry, and she says this is like her favorite series ever, so I thought I would give it a try, and oh my god, this is like so floppy. I love this. So this is like a rugby young adult romance. It's a series, so I'm excited to start it. Larry has some really beautiful like additions coming out through her box that she's releasing. But yeah, I'm excited to check this one out. So those are my library pickups today. I think that makes it so that I have 33 library books checked out. It's a real problem. I have like a stack of my hopefuls for this month. They're essentially the library books that have to be returned this month that I know of now, but this one is preventing me from getting to any of them. I have to read this one first because this is the one that's due back first. So like I said, I'm only like 30 pages in. I'm on chapter 4, which is a Laura chapter. She is the character that is from like the South. I think she's from Mississippi. She comes to this school and she has a rivalry with Carmilla over like poetry or writing or something, and the attention of their Professor de la Fontaine. And so I'm kind of trying to wonder, how does this tie into A Dowry of Blood? I guess I'll have to read it and find out. I'm wondering if De La Fontaine is a character from that series or from that book that I just don't know yet, because I'm sure those characters change their names throughout time because they're all vampires. And De La Fontaine is a vampire. A little bit of spoilers, but I think I already said I was going to talk about it. But yeah, on page 30, you find out she's a vampire. So it's like, to me, that's like barely a spoiler. We are like this far into the book and we just found out she is a vampire. There's some warnings at the beginning of this book, which I do appreciate. I'm not sure yet if they like cover everything, but it says there's uneven power dynamics, inappropriate relationships between professor and students, toxic academia environments, blood, gore, murder, consensual sexual content, including public sex, kink, negotiated and spontaneous, alcohol and drug use, smoking, and brief references to racist political policies, homophobia, and religious discrimination against women. So I don't know why I thought this was a YA. Like I need to double check, but pretty sure this is not a YA. I know Dowry of Blood was not, so I don't know why I would think An Education in Malice is. Maybe it's just like the cover is kind of giving me like YA, and also it's about like, well, I guess Carmilla is like 21 or 22, but Laura is like fresh out of high school going to college. I think she took a gap year, so she's like old 18 or young, like a 19. I guess it would be like kind of new adult, but it sounds pretty dark. I want to read it. I'm just like not motivated, you know? I'm a mood reader and my mood is saying the long game, but my library says Education in Malice. So I'm going to give it a go and start trying to read it later though. Right now I have to go film my Wednesday Star Stable video. I'm already filming it super late. It's 3 o'clock. I usually like to have it up by now, but I wanted to get my errands out of the way. So I need to go record that and get it going. I also have some archive stuff I want to work on. Like I have videos uploaded. I just need to add descriptions and titles and tags and put it in the playlist and all that stuff. So I have some work to do. And then it's bingo night tonight. So we will see if my mom actually wants to go to bingo night or not. We're going to wait and see how we feel a little bit closer. But that is a little over 3 hours from now. So I've got 3 hours to try to chug through some stuff. And I don't think I'm going to be getting any reading done until later this evening. But we will see. Hopefully I can at least get... How many pages is this? 358. Wait, what is this? I was like, why is it suddenly journal entries? But that is A Dowry of Blood. That makes me think that maybe they're not super connected. Don't mind me just going to the end. 342 pages. So if I could knock out at least like page 100 tonight, that would be great. I think that would be really easy. We'll see, because I do need to finish it like tomorrow or the next day. Anyways, I'm going to go work on other stuff. So I will see you guys when I'm done with all of that, and we'll see if I make it to bingo.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite.
Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, the 7th Cubby will not leave me alone, so he's just going to be part of this. Hopefully he doesn't push any buttons. He's already turned my webcam off. Yes, you have already turned my webcam off. I went to bingo last night. I did take some footage, so hopefully you got to see a little bit of it. And I did some reading of An Education in Malice. It felt like I've been reading for hours, and then I was only 40%. I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be some work. Some effort. Yeah, I'm 40% in. I think we're about to kind of have like a revelation. Both girls are aware of things now. They're still kind of like rivals. I feel like I've read things that are like, this is an academic, dark academia, rivals to lovers or whatever. And I've never really felt the rivals part. Like, I wish I could talk about it, but I can't talk about like the book I really want to talk about because of the current like marketing boycott. Oh, it's too early in the morning for me to be discussing things that actually matter. Yeah, I feel like they are actually kind of rivals because the teacher is like kind of pitting them against each other. She wants them to become better poets. So she's mean, and I don't necessarily stand by those methods, but that's what she's choosing to do. So now that they've had like a moment of not necessarily being mean to each other, but the teacher witnessed it, she's upset. She does not like that. She doesn't want them to be distracted by each other. She wants them to be like focused on each other in a competitive manner, but not like distracted. Library books are always so shiny. So she's upset and she's like, I'm about to tell you guys something or whatever. But that's when I decided to go to sleep because it was like 1 a.m. and I'd been reading for probably like 2 hours and I got 40% in. I mean, I did say yesterday if I could just get to page 100, that would be great. So I did get to 159, but I kind of wanted to get to 50%, but I just could not push myself to the final bit, especially because this did feel like a good stopping point where we were about to kind of learn some stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna stop now. You can learn me tomorrow. So that's how far I am in this book. I did mark like one little line that I really liked. It's not a little line, it's like a whole paragraph. Like, Laura is hungry. She's hungry. And like this paragraph, like, I just really liked it. So the book is really beautifully written. It's about two poetry students, and I really do think that S.T. Gibson has like a beautiful writing style. So I really like how she writes things. But yeah, this is Laura, and she says, but this girl, this Carmilla, she undid all my domestication. One smile from her, and I wanted to lose my hair and chase her barefoot through the woods. I wanted to knock her to the ground and pin her like a butterfly. I wanted to dig my teeth into her plush lower lip. I wanted. She is going feral for Carmilla, but it's all like behind the scenes in her mind angst. Like, she's churning out poetry about Carmilla and stuff. Like, it's crazy. I love that part because I'm a yearner girly. I like the angst. I like the yearning. Once it like gets together, I'm kind of like, okay, well, this is less interesting to me. So this whole book feels like it's going to be mostly like yearning and stuff, like moments of weakness where they maybe give in, but I don't know. I'll let you know if it's really a yearner book, but so far it's definitely for the yearners. I've seen like mixed thoughts on it. So far I do like it. I don't really know where we're going with the plot. It is very character heavy and less like plot heavy. We're just kind of in the characters' heads as they compete with each other and learn things, sort of. There's like an underlying plot that we don't really know anything about. Like, the professor is doing like research into the history of the school, and it's like, what is it called? The building plans and stuff. There's like a term for that. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I just keep thinking blue for some reason. Blueprints, there we go. Yeah, so she's doing like research into that, and she won't tell them anything about it. Maybe we're about to get a revelation, I'm not sure. But I did read the last page just to see, and so I do know some things about the end. Interested to see how we get there. It is kind of interesting because it does say at the end, like, if you enjoyed this, check out Dowry of Blood. Obviously this is not like a direct sequel. I never really thought it was a direct sequel, so I guess these are kind of like standalones that are interconnected. Maybe you don't have to read them in certain orders. I guess I'll find out. I will report back to you. So far I'm enjoying it. I keep saying this is due on the 9th. I double checked. It's due today. It's due on the 7th. So I will be happy if I can return it tomorrow. The library doesn't start charging late fees for like a day or two after the due date. If I can get another chunk of this read today and finish it tomorrow, I'll call that good. I always say I want my booktube videos to go up on Fridays, but for the last couple of weeks I've been lucky if I make it to Saturday. So yeah, I need to schedule a haircut. I'm actually gonna cut like this much off. It's so scary to me to think that because like I love having my long hair, but this is just all fried. I want to cut off like this much of it. I want to get rid of all this dyed stuff. Yeah, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much shorter. Yeah, that's it for now, I think. I have to finish up my Star Stable video because due to the nature of the patch we got yesterday, I needed a couple days to get through it, which reminds me I should start that program up while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of a chill day around here. I gotta do Star Stable. I want to get some archive stuff done. I have like an event quest I have to go record before the event goes away. Yeah, I'm just gonna be plugging away at stuff. I need to do some house chores. I started some slow cooker stuff. It's a Korean barbecue beef, like slow cooked beef. I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. I've never had Korean barbecue, but it sounded like a good recipe. Okay, so I mean, I don't even know if anybody in my house has had Korean barbecue. There's just not a Korean barbecue place like around us. So I've never been to one. My fiance is like, we need to remedy that as soon as possible. Also, Korean barbecue feels like something you do with like a big group of people, but I mean, maybe you can go with two. I don't know how it works. Oh, I have some footage. I went to the grocery store yesterday and I looked at their book section, and it's just so crazy to me that the Kroger here has like all these book talk books and like book talk girly books and like dark romances and stuff. I'm like, who is doing the book shopping for this place? Because I love it. So I didn't buy anything at Kroger yesterday just because it wasn't in my book budget to pick up an $18 paperback. But I did see they had the Maidens in that like weird book size. It's like a rectangle, and like, does anybody know what that book shape is called? Like, what is that book size called? I don't think it's a pocket reader or whatever those are. I feel like the pocket readers are the smaller ones, but what are these weirdly tall ones? And like, I did not expect to see the Maidens of all books in that. Like, I guess it makes sense because the Maidens to me gives off that vibe of like, yeah, your grandma might read it like just by picking it up. I don't know, like, but what is that book shape called? I don't really like it. I only have one book in that, and it's like a thriller I got at Goodwill. I didn't know they still even made those. What even is that? Do you know? Anyways, I'm gonna drink coffee and wake up and start working on stuff and hopefully try to get some reading in during the whole process. So I will check back with you guys probably at 50 to 75% if I have anything to talk about. So I'll see you guys later. You guys, it was snowing a few days ago and today it's like 50 degrees and sunny, and it's gonna be like close to 70 degrees next week. What even is happening with the weather anymore? This is just crazy. Oh my goodness. Waiting for the bus. Just reading and waiting for the bus. Hello, friends. Hello. I think I was talking to you earlier today. I don't even know. My brain cannot comprehend time. Okay, Cub, you gotta move this forward. Okay. Yeah, so I've been reading a lot today, more than I thought I would get done. I think earlier I was talking to you, I was at 40, and I was like, oh, I really feel like we're about to have a revelation or something. Things happened, okay? Things happened, and they just kind of kept happening a little bit. I feel like the pacing is a little bit weird in this book because for the first like 40%, it's kind of slow going, more about the characters and less about what's going on around them. And then you hit 40% or so, and it's like things start happening and they keep happening for a while, and then it kind of slows down a little bit. There is something happening in the background, but it's so sparse. It's so sparse. Overall, I really like it so far. I'm intrigued with where it's going. There was like a spicy scene. I really just skipped it. Okay, I'm not a big spicy reader. I do read books that have spice, but I am a skimmer. And also the way that this author writes, like, it's so poetic. I couldn't read it. I couldn't read it, okay? I am asexual, and I just was like, this is too much for me, okay? And my little asexual heart, all right, I couldn't handle it. So I really just skimmed it. It was super, like, steamy, I would assume, and poetic. It was especially not for me because I'm really not a big fan of like voyeurism and public scenes, and that's kind of what that is what it was. So it really just wasn't for me. So I skipped it. I'm interested to see where it goes, even though I kind of know where it ends. I just read the final page, and the final page isn't even a full page. I just wanted to see if they were going to sequel bait me or not. I'm really sucked in. I want to like keep reading. I'm pausing reading right now. I'm almost at exactly 75%. That was accidental. I know I said I would see you at like 50 or 75, but I was reading and I got to a chapter and I was like, okay, I have to stop right now and say something before I just keep going. I am working on other projects. Just when I'm recording for the archive, I only record during the daytime. It's kind of like reading sprints, just instead of a timer, I go off the game that I record. And so it's like 40 minutes of daytime and 40 minutes of nighttime or something like that. So when it's nighttime, I'm sitting here reading. It's nighttime right now, so I'm going to get back to reading. Unless something really intriguing happens, I will see you guys at the end, which will hopefully happen tonight. I think my fiance is going to go play Helldivers 2 with some coworkers, and he's like, "Is that okay?" And I'm like, go play Helldivers. I am gonna read. It's all working out. So I need to finish this tonight because it was due today, like I said earlier. I didn't think it was gonna pull me in. Once it hit 50%, I like really didn't want to stop reading. Oh my god, Cubby, why do you always do this? So yeah, now I'm gonna keep reading. All right, I'll see you guys at the end. Cubby, no, I just put chapstick on. All right, friends, I have finished An Education in Malice. I just could not stop. I don't know if I have like a rating right now for it. I will film my wrap-up thoughts like tomorrow after I sleep on it. Overall, I am happy with the story. It's probably gonna end up like a 3.5 or a 4. It's definitely not a 5-star. I know that for sure. I mean, after the 50%, I did really want to keep going, and I thought that the story was definitely very interesting. It was more about the characters than kind of anything else, about them kind of growing and coming to terms with parts of themselves. Yeah, so I thought it was really interesting. I am happy with the ending overall and the wrap up of some of the characters' arcs in a sense. It's definitely, the end is not set in stone. Like, you don't really know how it ends. If you kind of like more open-ended endings, maybe this might not be for you. Like that, it's just slightly open-ended. There's like a final choice and you don't know the choice that is made. Just keep that in mind if that would bother you. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep on this and I will give you my more complete thoughts in the morning. It's like 11:30 right now, so yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm just so happy I finished it. Oh my gosh, I can return to the library now and I can move on. Like, I'm gonna show you guys my stack of March hopefuls, like the books that the library has told me I have to return these this month. Let me go get them and I'm gonna show you them. And this book has been like in the way of me moving on to these books. Hang on. Oh my goodness. These two are just ones I want to read, but these are my library books that I have to read this month. They're due by the end of the month. All these guys I have to read this month or return unread, but I had to finish An Education in Malice because it was due today, and so it was kind of like in the way of me reading any of these. So done though. I've tackled the beast. I've done it. Now I can read these guys. I have to check my library and see if they've posted about any of the other books. They finally fixed my library's application. It's been broken since like November or something. They didn't realize that whoever supported it was going to be like unavailable. Oh, I have one overdue item. Oh no. Okay, I have to add 2 more books to this stack. I have to add The Long Game and The Winter People. Those are both cannot be renewed and are due by the end of March. But yeah, so now I can get into them. This will be my TBR video for the month too. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna talk to you guys tomorrow though about how I feel about that book. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow with more, hopefully more concise thoughts. Hello everybody, I'm here for some final thoughts on the book. But first, I got my book of the month box today, so I just want to show you guys what I picked for this month. It's gonna be my last month for a while, unless they come out with something like that I'm dying to get. The one I picked for my book of the month was A Fate Inked in Blood, which is Saga 1 of The Unfated, Danielle L. Jensen. This is kind of like Norse mythology, I think, from what I've heard. I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I don't know if I want to read it yet because it is the first in a series, and I don't really like starting series when they're fresh. If I read this now and get super invested, I have to wait so long for the next chapter. I'm excited to read it at some point, but maybe just not yet. I've heard pretty good things about it. Hopefully it will suffice when I get to it. But then for my free book, is it just BFS? I don't even know anymore, but you gotta pick a free book from the Book of the Year finalists, and I picked Shark Heart, A Love Story by Emily Hubeck. This book, like, I almost bought it a few times over the summertime. I've heard somewhat mid things. It's so beautiful and it's such an interesting concept. If you're not familiar, I don't know if it's magical realism or whatever, but instead of like cancer, people slowly turn into animals. And so this is about somebody who's, is it their husband? Yeah, so it's about newlyweds. The husband is slowly turning into a shark. So it sounds terribly sad, but very interesting as a concept. That's my book of the month box there. I got that today. I'm very excited about these two. Like, if nothing else, at least Shark Heart is beautiful. Yes, I finished finished it yesterday and it's escaped my brain. All right, I actually wrote a review for Education in Malice, like one that looks fancy. Let's see if it'll let me show you it. If I shove it all the way in front of it. Oh, it's not really gonna focus well enough, but do you see what I mean? Look, I did like the likes and the dislikes. Who is she? I never do these things. But yeah, so I put one of those together today to try to like get my thoughts together for this outro. So I did end up rating An Education in Malice 3.5 stars. I just could not bring myself to give it 4 stars, you know? It just did not feel, okay, I have to move this up. I couldn't bring myself to give it 4 stars. It did not feel 4 stars to me, even though like looking back on it now, I am kind of like, yeah, I did enjoy that read. I liked it overall, the story. The writing was like beautiful and poetic, but it was like hard to read. It like took effort, you know, like not that reading should always be easy. Like I don't think reading shouldn't be sometimes like you got to put effort into it, but it felt like a slog. Like I almost DNF'd it at 37%. I was sitting in my bed like, do I just return this? Do I just return it and not finish it? Do I just give up at this point? I said, no, I'm too far in. I've hit the sunk cost fallacy. I'm like almost halfway there. I just have to finish it. And at 50% or 40%, I think like that chapter at 40% is when it picked up for me and I wanted to keep reading and finish it. Not that I didn't like the first 40%. It just didn't like pull me in. There was no real like hook for it. It was just reading about two people who were academic rivals who also were dealing with the fact that like they both disliked but really wanted the other person. Like there was this like they couldn't come to terms with their feelings for each other. And I really liked that. This was a good book for yearners, people who like the yearning, the like where they just want each other so bad, but they just can't bring themselves to like give in for various reasons. Like it's a really good book if you like that. What else did I like? Yeah, characters full of yearning and hunger. Interesting exploration of growing into oneself. Like I said, we're dealing with somebody coming to terms with their like sexual preferences, not just lesbianism, but also like certain kinds of kinks and stuff. It was interesting. It was an interesting read. I said it before, I am asexual, so some of that didn't quite hit with me, but I also can like relate to certain things in that area. The vampires were almost like just a subplot here, you know, like they were there and they did have like a part to play, but I feel like this was less about vampires as much as about two young women and also like their teacher dealing with that kind of thing. And this was actually like rivals to lovers. I did like that, like a true kind of rivals to lovers where they were rivals and they were kind of being pitted against each other by their teacher and they were actually in some sort of a rivalry instead of like other rivals to lovers where like either only one person thinks they're really rivals, the other person's just like, what are you talking about? We're not rivals. Or it just doesn't even exist. I did like that. Not a whole lot of real like exciting plot, mostly just character explorations it felt like, which is fine. I just feel like you should know that going into it. Like the plot is quiet. Plot is like in the background. You get little mentions of it every once in a while. It does ramp up, but even that is still just like, it's hard. It's like it ramps up like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Exactly. Yeah, the spicy scene was too much for my asexual heart. For various reasons I talked about before, just the kinks and stuff were not for me. Overall, I enjoyed it. I would recommend it if the tropes and stuff are kind of your thing and if you don't mind more of a quieter plot. I'm not super familiar with the gothic genre, but I would say that this to me felt gothic from other gothic things that I read. Keep that in mind if you're going into it. I feel like if you didn't like A Dowry of Blood, still check this one out because it is written differently. It is third person. I think, was it third person? Yeah. Not second person, not written like letters and stuff. So at least there's that. And it was an interesting story. There are some kind of touches on things from A Dowry of Blood, very little, very little. So you can read them in any order, really, or just only read one. Gabby, seriously, dude. You're pressing buttons. Oh my god. But yeah, 3.5 stars for Why can I not remember it? 3.5 stars for, oh my God, I had it in my head. This is tough. Okay, guys, this is really hard. 3.5 stars for An Education in Malice. I did it. Okay. By S.T. Gibson. Gee, Cubby's about to bite my hand. S.T. Gibson. Dude, 3.5 stars. Would recommend. Just know kind of what you're getting into before you go into it. Don't go in expecting like an action-packed, super romance heavy. I would say it's romantic, but it's not romance heavy. They're not like wooing each other. Just know that going into it. This was one of my most anticipated reads of this year. It was on my 24 for 24. I am slightly disappointed, but at the same time, I kind of felt like this is what was going to come from this book. Like, I wasn't expecting a 5-star read with this book. I don't think. I was hoping for one after A Dowry of Blood, but I wasn't super expecting it. I'm not unhappy with this read. I just wish that it had surprised me and knocked me out of the park instead of just kind of giving me exactly what I expected, which was a little above a mid-tier read that I did enjoy, would recommend, but didn't really change my life or anything. So yeah, there we go. That's my whole spiel on that book. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. Have you read An Education in Malice? How did you feel about it? Were you blown away? Were you thinking it was like subpar? Let me know in the comments, or let me know, have you read A Dowry of Blood? What are your thoughts on that one? Or if you haven't read either of them, give me some recommendations for vampires. I added the actual, what is it, Carmilla to my like wish list. I do want to give it a read. I've been seeing people call this like a Sapphic reimagining or whatever of Carmilla, but when you look up Carmilla, it says it's like a lesbian vampire story. So I don't know what's up with that. I guess I'll find out when I read it, whether it's very underhanded or not. I don't know. But anyways, let me know in the comments if you have any good vampire recommendations or gothic recommendations. I'm open for that, especially as we move into fall. I'm going to be picking up Dracula, and if I don't read Frankenstein this month, it'll be closer to then, and I might try to read Carmilla. I'm so bad at remembering like what is what. But yeah, please like and subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next week for the what is it? The Chestnut Ranch? Chestnut City? I don't know. Chestnut Valley, whatever it is, Elsie Silver, romance reading vlog, cowboys, bull riders, hockey players. There's a lot to cover in that one. So I'll see you guys next week for that. All right. Bye.